And that was where I got my first exposure to the world. I was in charge of trying to figure out the future of eye care and got to travel the world speaking to different eye care specialists. So I knew about LASIK before LASIK actually hit the market. I mean, things that I had to learn just to figure out where they were going. And it was a great way of broadening my personal resume. So after about 3 years there, I said, okay, love it, got the strategy, had another wonderful mentor there, and said it's time to actually get back into the consumer world, which is what I really love. And at that time, Coca-Cola had a program called the General Manager's Talent Initiative. And they were looking for people with classical marketing backgrounds and global experience. And I got an opportunity to go work for Coca-Cola. And honestly, I thought I was going to retire at Coca-Cola. They do inject it in your veins. I will never drink a Pepsi. Sorry if there's any Pepsi people in here, I apologize, but it's one of those branding that gets you to the core. And that's what's so exciting about branding that I'm going to talk about a little bit, because there's got to be a passion about what you do when you're a marketer. And that passion gets in you, and it really does get into your veins when you're at a place like Coca-Cola. So had a wonderful, wonderful time there, and I'll talk about some of the things that happened there in a bit as well. But I got the phone call that was really what I thought was my goal in life. When I finished business school, I said I wanted to be a division president by the time I was 50. That was my goal. I got called for the job to go run the Soft Sheen Carson division of L'Oreal when I was 42. And it was like, I can't pass it up. As much as I loved Coca-Cola, it was an opportunity of a lifetime. And I spent 6 years there working for L'Oreal, 3 of them in Chicago, 3 of them in New York, with that horrific 3-hour commute a day. But one of the things that I really admire what I learned there, and it was, one, they were experts at managing brands and the imagery around the beauty. But secondly, at the time I was there, that during the 6 years, they had approached 23 straight years with double-digit profit growth. And you don't do that without understanding the financial side of things. And it gave me a new appreciation as a marketer for the financial side. And so spent 6 years there and needed to come back to what I call a normal life. I mean, life in New York is wonderful, but it's not anything but normal. And so I got the call about Amway. And the recruiter calls and says, oh, I want to talk to you about Amway. And I was like, Amway? Do they still exist? I mean, honestly, that was my reaction. And the recruiter did something that I think was absolutely the most magnificent thing she could have done. She said, go visit. Just give them 1 day. And then decide whether or not it's something that's worth talking to. So I came to Amway, and I have to say, that first day was so amazing. It was so wonderful. I interviewed with 8 people. I asked a lot of questions about the culture, especially after I had been working for the French for 6 years. So the culture was a bit different. And I really wanted to know what the culture was like here. And the answer that I received was so consistent, and they talked about kind of the family and the foundations of the founders and how that permeates everything that they do. But they also talked about the transformation that they wanted to go to. This company has been extremely successful for 50 years, thanks to the wonderful people who are here and the 3 million IBOs around the world. And so, but yet, they realized they needed to transform for the future. And so I thought having foresight and to be able to do that from a position of strength versus when you're in trouble is a very, very different opportunity. So needless to say, over the next several months, we courted each other back and forth, and in December of 2007, I came here to be part of the transformation. So what I'd like to really talk about is that transformation and kind of how some of the things of my past have brought me to here and how I hope it will help in the transforming of this company. And the first thing I'd like to talk about is marketing versus brand management. Does anyone ever believe that there's a distinction between the two? Because I believe that marketing is absolutely wonderful. It's the creative side. It's the idea side. Everybody gets excited about marketing. The other side of it, though, is actually managing the brand that you own. And the brands can be whatever it is, but you have to own that brand and be a champion for that brand. So when I look at marketing, I say marketing's for more creative. Brand management is still creative, but you're responsible for the management of that brand, and you're accountable for the financials of that brand. And so there tends to be a more balanced approach to brand management than to just marketing. You still need everything that marketing needs, but you need to do more. And a lot of that more has to do with the entire package. So did you do your research before you want to launch something? Or is it just a great idea? So do you understand who you're targeting and who you're going after? Do you know that no matter how many times you might be told no or they don't have the budget, you go back and back and back, and I can look at Jim and Mike, two people on my team, that no matter how many times they were told no, they came back and back and back until their projects got approved. They would do the research, they would add more, whatever objection they had, they came back with a solution. And it's that level of championing that you need when you're going to be a brand manager versus just a marketer. And the other thing is that with that comes metrics and objectives. You have to make sure that what you're delivering is actually going to do something for the company. It's going to give them some level of return. And the story I want to share about this was from my Coke days. One of the jobs that I had at Coke was running the new product and package innovation team. And so we were charged with figuring out not only the products, but new ways of bringing Coke to the marketplace. So I worked on the team that developed the fridge pack. So the thing that changed your 12 packs from the 3x4s to the 2x6s that goes into the refrigerator. But the fridge pack was fraught with lots of challenges. The biggest one was the fact that all of the bottlers' capital, their equipment, could only build 3x4s. You couldn't change it to build 2x6s. It didn't matter what you did, you couldn't change it. So this was going to require a significant capital investment to make this happen. We did tons of research to show that the usage would increase dramatically by the mere fact that it was going to be in the refrigerator, that people could grab it easily, and they would drink it more because it was going to be cold immediately. And so we took all of this research and got our company on board, but understand the bottlers are very similar to our organization. The bottlers are independent, but they're still part of us. And so we had to figure out how to get the bottlers on board. And in order to do so, it really required a partnership. So we convinced the company that it would be worth it to share the investment of the capital with the bottlers. And we picked a target bottler, which happened to be in Chicago. And Chicago was the first market that transformed. And we worked with them, shared the investment, proved the concept, rolled it out around the world with a 2-year exclusivity from Mead Packaging. And it was probably one of the toughest things, but it really took an understanding of a package that was really going to make a difference and said, how can we bring this to life? We had to take the idea and kind of take it beyond, manage the process and manage the financials so that everybody could see the reward. So that's kind of my story around marketing versus brand management. And I really believe that in order to be a great marketer, you also have to be a great brand manager, and you have to have this relentless passion